Guy, you have worn many hats over your times: evangelist, author, podcast, investor, even a surfboard tester, I heard.
You just have to ask yourself, so at the end of your life, what do you want people to say about you? What do you want your eulogy to be? And I want my eulogy to be about being a father and a husband and someone who empowered people, other people, not myself.
The humankind, is it ready with that type of speed?
I think AI is the most enormous innovation that I have encountered in my career. And I am a complete and utter believer in AI. Yes, it has dangers. Yes, it has problems. But every innovation does. If you're an entrepreneur or potential entrepreneur and you think you want to achieve work-life balance, well, you better give it up, pal, because you are not going to have work-life balance. Now, over the course of your life,
Good morning, everyone. My name is Shashi Tripathi. Graduated from IIT Bombay in '99. Came here in US, this wonderful country, and over the years worked in primarily healthcare, variety of role from CIO to CEO, founded companies, started my venture capital, and took on this wonderful role as the chair of our global Indian Institute of Technology conference to be held next year in beautiful Long Beach, California from April 22nd through 25th. And I have an absolute honor to have Mr. Guy Kawasaki. He is a legend. I treat him like a god. Guy, when I started my venture capital journey, Guy, I will be honest. I did my research, and one topic kept coming was 10-20-30 rule. Uh, I read all your article, Guy. So it's such an honor to even have you. And it's even more honored to have you speak at our global conference, Guy.
Mm,
So good morning. I know
thank
you're
you.
from Hawaii. And just share brief about you, Guy. I mean, you don't need the intro. Most people knows, but love to hear a little bit from your own words, who you are, Guy.
Well, I am from Silicon Valley. I happen to be in Hawaii today, but I don't live in Hawaii. And I worked at Apple. I was a second software evangelist for Apple. And I left Apple. I came back to Apple and I became the chief evangelist of Apple. I left Apple. I started some software companies, started a venture capital firm. And now I am the chief evangelist of Canva, which is an online graphics design service. I'm also a podcaster. I have a podcast called the Remarkable People Podcast. And yeah, I mean, that's basically what I do. I'm 71 years old, so I'm in the last part of my career, and I just I just go for it at this point.
Guy, I mean, one word, I think you and I know the meaning of evangelist. Can you explain to some people in plain language what does evangelist really mean? Because you are the one who coined that word, by the way, at Apple.
Well, yeah, I mean, there was Jesus before me that we copied, but okay, there was a 2,000-year gap. So evangelism comes from a Greek word that means bring the good news. So what an evangelist does is he or she brings the good news. And I started off in the Macintosh division, bringing the good news of Macintosh, that it would increase people's creativity and productivity. Now, at the end of my career, I'm the chief evangelist of Canva. And Canva's good news, it helps everybody become a better communicator because it has democratized design. So if you have a product or service that literally is good news for some population, then you could be evangelistic about the product or the service.
Perfect, very cool. Now, I shared in the start of the call that you are coming to speak at our global IIT conference next year. And you have spoken at many places, Guy. I have seen you speak. You are remarkable, by the way. I'll use that word. Uh, share with us why this talk next year will be different and why people should come and listen to your wonderful talk.
Well, my talk is based on the last 5 or 6 years of my work. And in that 5 or 6 years, I've interviewed about 300 remarkable people. Now, in the tech world, I interviewed people like Steve Wozniak, Neil deGrasse Tyson. I have, venture capitalists. I have entrepreneurs, and so I learned a lot from them. And so this talk is going to be a summary of all the practices and the theories and the inspiration that will make a remarkable tech leader and a tech entrepreneur.
And what excites you to come join with us? I mean, you have heard about the word Indian Institute of Technology. You have worked with many IITians, I know, Guy.
Yeah.
What excites you to come join us, even at the first place?
Well, it's because it's on the West Coast. If it was if it was in New York or Boston or Florida, I would have turned you down. Uh, quite honestly, I love Southern California.
Perfect. I mean,
And
that's great.
I have my grandson is in San Diego, so maybe I'll be able to see him too. So yeah, honestly, at this stage in my life, I pick stuff that I just like to do. I don't pick stuff for the money or for the strategic value. The Everything is tactical now.
I hear you.
When time is running out, you're not thinking about, oh, this is going to be good for me in 20 years. In 20 years, I'll be dead. It won't matter. So,
That's the piece I like about you, Guy, that you are just with the heart. You share your thinking, your wisdom, just pure with the kindness and heart. Guy, I love that about you. Um, so, Guy, you have worn many hats over your times: evangelist, author, podcast, investor, even a surfboard tester, I heard.
basically,
Uh,
I cannot do anything well, so I got to keep finding a new job.
so, my question, Guy, is which version of Guy Kawasaki would you say best defines who you are today?
Oh, probably the best definition of me today is father or father and husband. At least that's my priority now. And so outside of that, it would probably be as a well, I would like it to be that I'm remembered as a podcaster because I think my podcast is the best work that I've ever done. But probably I'll be remembered as a, evangelist who evangelized Canva and Apple. But yeah, as I said, if it was up to me, I'd be remembered as the host of the Remarkable People podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen your podcast on the remarkable people, and you do such a good job, Guy. Talk to us a little bit more about you being father and husband. I mean, we live in this world where most people, not everyone, is changing something in business world, in tech world, in the AI world. How has that impacted you as a human, being a father, husband,
Well,
Guy?
don't get me wrong. I used to be one of those
I
people.
know,
Okay.
I know. That's why you're the best person to explain to us, I guess.
Well, I think that, you just have to ask yourself, so at the end of your life, what do you want people to say about you? What do you want your eulogy to be? And I want my eulogy to be about being a father and a husband and someone who empowered people, other people, not myself. So I empower people with my writing, my speaking, which your audience is about to see, my podcasting, my investing, my advising, all these kind of things. And that's how I want to be remembered. I do not want to be remembered as, making crypto successful or ensuring that long-term capital gains tax is good for billionaires. I don't care about that. And I think that's a rather pathetic way to be remembered.
Very, very nicely said. Very nicely said, Guy. Um, you have done so many interviews and with some wonderful, remarkable people. Um, I've seen your podcast. If you had to extract maybe the top three qualities, I know it's hard, but for you it's easier. Top three qualities all of these remarkable people have. What would those
Sure.
three
It's,
be?
it's not that hard to do this. The top three qualities of remarkable people is first a growth mindset where they believe they can do new things, try new things, and they are constantly, embracing innovation, embracing change. So that's the growth mindset. The second quality is the grit mindset, because if you have a growth mindset and you try these new things, you're not going to be good at them right away. So you have to have grit. You have to keep trying. You have to deal with failure. You have to pick yourself up and keep going. And then the final step is that you have to have a grace mindset. And grace means that you realize that, you're put on this earth for more than just making money and, buying cars and houses, that you take the high road and you want to help the next generation, the next group of people also succeed. So it's growth, grit, and grace.
Wow, very cool, very cool. Are you going to touch on these 3 points during your talk at next year at the conference?
I certainly will, yes.
Good one, very
If I
good.
talk anymore, if I talk anymore, people won't have to
You
come
won't
to
come
my
up. Yeah,
stuff.
I hear you. Totally agree with you. Um, you, Guy, have shaped innovation. You truly have. You have made so much impact from early on evangelizing the Macintosh to now democratizing Canva, you talked about. When you look back, what do you think has changed most about people believing in ideas from Macintosh to now Canva?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you want to get into it, but I think that we are in such a politically fractured world today that, I used to think the biggest battle in my life is Macintosh versus Windows or Canva versus Adobe Photoshop, something at that level. But at this stage, 2025, I think, the United States faces an existential crisis. And so the battle is at a much higher level. And I'm sure you don't want me to get political, but
Sure.
you
Yeah.
can imagine what I'm saying here.
Yes.
There are bigger issues than whether crypto should be successful or the long-term capital gains or, these kind of things.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. There are lots of things going on in the world. And I often say this also, Guy, that with the invent of AI and with the technology is so fast, it's making all human being more closer. And when we come closer, we somehow create conflict. And that conflict is taking even at the higher level. So how,
Yeah.
as a human being, we operate in this world is very, very hard, Guy, as you started to allude towards. Um, so I'll change the topic maybe. So you talk about remarkable, not just being good. So when the founders are founding new ideas, are creating new product, what advice you would have for them to not just think good, but think remarkable, go beyond,
Well,
oh,
I
I'm going to make this change.
I would say that a very good metaphor is from the history of ice in America. So, ice 1.0 was you harvested ice from frozen lakes and ponds with a saw and a sleigh and a horse. and that was the early 1900s. Ice 2.0 was the ice factory. Now you froze water, any city, any time of year. You didn't have to wait for winter. You didn't have to wait for the ponds and lakes and streams and rivers to freeze over. Then ICE 3.0 was the refrigerator curve. So now instead of having an ice factory, which could operate in any city, any time of the year, now you had your own personal ice factory. It's called a refrigerator. So if you want to be remarkable, you cannot just be on the curve and make ice harvesting slightly better, or the refrigerator curve slightly better, or the ice factory curve slightly better. You need to get to the next curve. And that's where remarkable things happen.
I mean, good point you're making, Guy. You have seen so many inflection in our life, from PC to internet to mobile, now AI, and things are changing so quickly. And you talked about those ICE 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0. Uh, Elaborate a little bit
Let,
more.
let,
How is this
let's
different?
be clear. Ice, I mean ice as frozen water, because
Yeah, yeah.
the
I
word
hear you.
ice has very different meaning
I
today.
hear you. I'm not going there, Guy. I'm
Yeah.
not going on that ice, by the way. So, Guy, you are looking in a different lens the current world we are living, right? Especially the AI age. And there's so much investment going on. There's so much potential in the future. Do you see any correlation to previous inflection from PC, mobile, internet versus here? And what is so different this time, Guy?
Well, I think that I've been through sort of the computer revolution, the personal computer revolution, the internet revolution, the social media revolution. And I would say that AI is a bigger deal than all of them put together. I think AI is the most enormous innovation that I have encountered in my career. And I am a complete and utter believer in AI. Yes, it has dangers. Yes, it has problems, but every innovation does. And I think it is a great, great opportunity, a great, way to change lives and change your own personal life if you embrace it. And again, there are dangers, but there are also dangers in staying the status quo.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. And the way things are moving with this speed, sometimes I think the humankind, is it ready with that type of speed? So some will and some will not, I feel. And as you pointed out, AI is the force, whether you want to be part of that force or left behind. So it's a hard choice. Do you have any advice for people? I'm sure you do. Those who are very skeptical about this AI force.
Well, I would say to them that look at the history that people were skeptical about computers. Why isn't a typewriter good enough? People were skeptical about the internet. I just need a fax machine and an 800 number. Why do I need a website? People were skeptical about social media. Why do I need Twitter? I got, text messaging. And like if like in 2025, if you look back and say, remember when some people said that they didn't need a website for their company, you realize how ridiculous that sounds today. So I think by 2030, we're going to look back and say, remember those times we thought that AI was a bad thing and maybe we shouldn't like develop it and all that. We're going to say like, what were we thinking? My God,
Yes.
it was like so clueless.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, guys. So you talked about the definition of evangelizing. When you pick this product or ideas, what are two or three attributes you see? You talked about creating the goodness, creating the great in the world. What are two, three attributes you look for before you take on evangelizing that product?
Well, I don't even know if it's two or three. It might be just one.
Okay.
And if I look at Macintosh, if I look at Canva, if I look at AI, every one of them made my life better because it made me more productive, right? So the Macintosh took me from a world of Apple IIe with, it was a cursor driven world. It was not WYSIWYG, it wasn't really color either. Then Canva took me from PowerPoint and Photoshop. And now I can make much better graphics very easily. So that improved my life. And I use AI every day for my writing and my speaking and my analysis. I use AI to, how do I hang a picture? I don't, before I used to take a question like, how do I hang a picture on the wall? You would ask Google that and you get 750,000 links and, like
Yes, I remember.
250,000 YouTube videos, and now you ask ChatGPT or you ask Gemini and you say, "How do you hang a picture?" And instead of giving you links, it gives you an answer. All of those things. I mean, it's just like makes life so much easier.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree, Guy. Now, part of this, I was doing research, and you once said evangelizing is believing in it, not just selling it.
Yes.
How does that translate that in today's noisy world where we have millions of apps and thousands of systems and software? How a company should go about believing versus actually selling it?
Well, well, I mean, uh, I don't think the process is, w- how does Guy think you can convince your employees to believe in what you do? Uh, in a sense of, how does Guy think you can change their minds or affect their minds or, control their thinking? 90% of great evangelism is a great product. And I'll tell you something, it's very easy to evangelize a great product. It's very hard to evangelize shit. So don't make shit. Don't create shit. Don't affiliate with shit. Don't find shit. Don't do shit. Do great things. That's 90% of it.
Yep. Yep. No, I agree. And Guy, I've seen your career, and I'll use the word romanticizing entrepreneurship. And you have done a wonderful job so far in your life, Guy. At the same time, execution, as we all know, is also important. So, how do we balance for entrepreneurs, romanticizing the entrepreneurship, balancing with the execution and hard grind? Any advice you would have for the startup who are founders who are starting their company?
Well, my advice to you is that being an entrepreneur is hard. And if you don't want to make sacrifices and you don't want to grind and you don't want to persevere, don't be an entrepreneur. Go to work for, a large tech company, go to work for Amazon or Apple or Google or Meta or something. But if you want to be an entrepreneur, it is a very hard path. And if it was easy, more people would do it, right? So, I mean, I don't think there's any way around this, that it just requires sacrifice. And so, if you're an entrepreneur or potential entrepreneur and you think you want to achieve work-life balance, well, you better give it up, pal, because you are not going to have work-life balance. Now, over the course of your life, you may be able to say, well, if I sum up all the work and I sum up all the balance, it kind of is 50-50. But at any given moment, it's going to be 90-10 the other way. And then, like in my life, so I started off and I was overworked and underpaid. and now I am underworked and overpaid. And, so as I look back, it kind of evens out, but at any given point, it ain't going to be 50-50. You just got to come to grips with that.
Yeah, yeah. So on the staying on the same topic, I mean, the current world, as we all know, has become very, very competitive, and we see some leaders cut short, some leaders not paying attention at the global thinking of at the end of the humanity matters. What advice would you have for leaders on balancing the kindness and generosity and even the way you position yourself, Guy,
Yeah.
yet at the same time be competitive?
You know, I don't have an answer for that. I, I, I challenge anybody who says they have an answer for that is probably somebody you should not believe because they have delusions of grandeur and omnipotence. I think it's a struggle right now. I really,
Yeah,
really do.
yeah,
And I remain hopeful, but every day is a battle now. And I you probably shouldn't have asked me that question. I don't know the answer to this question, but I know it is not by, I know what it will not work, which is to do the expedient and sell your soul. That is not going to work. There's going to be a day of reckoning for all that.
yeah, yeah. The world right now is different, unusual. And I also believe, Guy, that the value of humanity is being sacrificed. But as you say, reckoning will come. So you're absolutely right, Guy. So, Guy, over the years, you have done so many things, um, so many initiatives. If you look back and you were building your life, you were 25-year-old, what is one or two advice you will give yourself to your 25-year-old?
Well, maybe I shouldn't have quit Apple twice. Yeah, what's a few 100 million either way?
Exactly.
If I had not quit Apple twice and turned Steve Jobs down for a third job, I would not be your keynote speaker. I would just say, nah, I'm busy. I'm in Tahiti. I can't come to Long Beach. So you're
Hey, Long Beach
lucky.
is
You're
beautiful.
lucky I did it. Yeah. Well, Long Beach is beautiful, but it's not Tahiti.
Yes, I agree with that. I totally agree.
I would be in Goa.
Goa, yeah, that's good. Maybe our next IIT conference should be in Goa.
Yeah, but now you're talking. Now you're talking.
Yeah, yeah. Any final thoughts, comments, Guy? For me, for conference, for the world, for humanity, anything you want to add?
Well, I just want to add that, there's a lot of work to be done, and it seems like we're creating work for ourselves. And I think that, believe it or not, although a lot of people think that AI is so dangerous with hallucinations or all that, I think AI is maybe the best bet we have for getting out of all these problems. I think if you ask ChatGPT, what are the biggest challenges the world faces right now, it would talk about climate change and stuff like that and democracy. It's not going to say the biggest challenge the world faces right now is how do we take care of trillionaires so that they can make more money. That is going to be way down the list. Of course, your audience might have trillionaires and billionaires, but then they're probably not going to listen to me anyway, so it doesn't matter. So I
At the end
just,
of the,
for I
no, go
just
ahead.
think, you know what? I just think the way you should look at this is, what do you want your eulogy to say? Seriously, what do you want your eulogy to say? That that you gave a building to Stanford, or what do you want it to say, and then you work backwards from there.
Well said. Very well said, Guy. Here you go, everyone. Mr. Guy Kawasaki, which I have absolute salute you, Guy. You have done
Oh,
wonderful
thank
things in
you.
your life. I'm
All
pretty
right.
sure when you write your eulogy, you will have hard time finding the size of the paper because you have done so many things in your life, Guy.
No.
You have done great things, and we are privileged. I'm privileged to talking to you. The whole global conference, there's a big team working behind the scene, Guy. I thank them. And so you're coming and talking to all the audience in Long Beach and everyone, the global conference, which is hosted by IIT and Guy, but anyone can attend and speak. I must say that. So you can attend this, managed by very highly intellectual people, but you can attend the conference. You can come and speak to us. You can volunteer. You can exhibit. You can sponsor. And our global website is IIT2026.org. And Guy, I cannot thank you enough for this
Oh, my
podcast.
pleasure.
And enjoy the rest of your time in Hawaii. I know it's wonderful. It's definitely better than Long Beach. Uh,
All
and
righty. We'll
uh,
see you in April.
see you in
Bye bye.
April. Thank you so
Bye
much, guys.
bye.
Bye.